Franz Schneider entered the world in 1857. His family included just one sibling, his brother Heinrich. Details about his upbringing remain elusive, but what's known is that Schneider's schooling was sporadic at best. He struggled with illiteracy and could barely pen his own name. At the tender age of around 14, he embarked on a path of petty thefts and robberies, leading to multiple incarcerations. Upon his release from one of his prison terms, Schneider relocated to Vienna, where fate introduced him to Rosalie Capelleri, a divorced cook maidservant, 6 years his senior. Their swift marriage, however, is suspected to have been primarily driven by Schneider's desire to secure a dowry of 700 florins. Once the dowry depleted, he resorted to extorting money from Rosalie's former husband. Subsequently, the couple settled into an apartment, surviving predominantly through Schneider's deceptive schemes and thefts, occasionally supplemented by his brief employment as a butcher and servant. In due course, the Schneiders concluded that the fastest means to address their financial woes involved resorting to robbery. They orchestrated a scheme aimed to ensnaring potential victims, primarily targeting women, by devising a deceptive ruse. Their method involved approaching women seeking employment at job agencies, offering fictitious job opportunities coupled with lodging. These women, often aspiring maidservants, carried their valuables and personal belongings in boxes. Upon a successful enticement, the Schneiders would lure these individuals to secluded areas. There, Franz would assault them, followed by the brutal act of either strangling or beating the victims to death, at times involving Rosalie in these heinous acts. The initial recorded attack by the Schneiders took place on September 11, 1890, when Franz engaged Johanna Dumseger at an inn. After a cordial exchange and expressing admiration for her necklace and cross, he proposed a job offer at a different inn, which Dumseger agreed to. Subsequently, he led her to fields where he subjected her to a sexual assault and robbery. Despite Dumseger surviving and reporting the incident to the authorities, her account was dismissed due to her perceived bad reputation. On May 26, 1891, Franz enticed another woman named Johanna Strober to an abandoned church, demanding her valuable possessions. When she claimed not to possess any, he proceeded to strangle and assault her, leaving her unconscious in the woods. Then, on June 1st, Franz attempted to persuade Anna Gyurix to accompany him to nearby woods. But when she declined, he proposed to escort her to the Comark Inn. There, he sexually assaulted and robbed her before departing. Gyurix did not initially report the incident to the police. On June 18th, the Schneiders ventured through Neulenbach and encountered 18-year-old Rosalie Kleinrath. Posing as individuals seeking a servant position under Baroness Falk, where Mrs. Schneider already served, they offered Kleinrath a job. Agreeing to the position, Kleinrath accompanied them to their residence. Subsequently, Franz persuaded her to join him for a stroll in the woods, where he then proceeded to strangle her and pilfer all her valuables before leaving her lifeless body in the woods. The couple proceeded to Kleinrath's apartment, plundered the remaining belongings, and sold them. On July 3rd, Rosalie visited the servant's office in Neulenbach and encountered Marie Hogwagner, a young woman seeking employment. Engaging her in conversation, Rosalie proposed a job as a maidservant, which Hogwagner accepted, agreeing to accompany her to Vienna. Hogwagner's boyfriend, present in a nearby pub, witnessed her departure with the Schneiders, but did not intervene, not perceiving anything amiss. Roughly 20 days later, Hogwagner's lifeless body was discovered in a forest outside the capital, showing signs of strangulation and robbery. Using the spoils acquired from this victim, the Schneiders upgraded their living situation by purchasing a better apartment and additional furnishings. 5 days after Hogwagner's demise, the Schneiders targeted Friederike Zufar, convincing her of their need for a maidservant. That very day, she was lured to nearby woods, where Franz strangled her, disrobed her body, and concealed it under tree branches. Alternative reports suggest that Zufar might have been poisoned by inhaling toxic fumes from a substance provided by Rosalie. After the murder, the Schneiders sold Zufar's clothing, acquiring enough funds for Rosalie to relinquish her job and actively assist her husband in seeking out new victims. Around July 24th, Gyurix, a survivor of the Schneider's assaults, finally reached out to the police after seeing media coverage of one of the murders. The description she provided matched that of the man seen with the murder victim, leading investigators to identify him as Franz Schneider, a known ex-convict with a dubious past. This prompted a manhunt to locate and question him regarding the crimes. On August 10, 1891, authorities apprehended both Schneiders at their residence, where they had been living under the alias Ferdinand and Rosalie Reidler. A search of their home uncovered clothing items belonging not only to the 3 confirmed murder victims, but also to at least 3 others whose fates remain unknown. Based on this evidence, the Schneiders were charged with the murders and detained pending trial. Subsequently, on September 15th, Rosalie attempted suicide by jumping from a 3rd-floor window, sustaining severe injuries but surviving. In the following months, authorities discovered the decomposed bodies of the other 2 missing women. The trial commenced on January 26, 1892. Franz Schneider openly confessed to the murders during the proceedings, displaying an unnervingly calm and cheerful demeanor. Prosecutors alleged Rosalie's active involvement, claiming she restrained some of the victims to prevent her husband from being scratched. Various witnesses, including surviving victims, testified against the Schneiders. As the trial unfolded, the spouses shifted blame onto each other, refusing to communicate. The case captivated Viennese society, attracting significant attention, with people closely following the trial's development or attending hearings for insights into the Schneiders' crimes. Comparisons arose between them and Hugo Schenk, a prior serial killer who, with 2 accomplices, had committed similar murders less than a decade earlier. On January 29th, Franz was unanimously found guilty on all charges by the jury, while Rosalie was convicted for Zufar's murder. Both received death sentences scheduled for execution within 2 months, with Rosalie set to go first. However, days before her execution, Rosalie was granted clemency, and her sentence was commuted to life imprisonment with a week in solitary confinement. In the final days leading up to his impending execution, Franz dedicated much of his time to composing farewell letters to his dear ones and endeavoring in reconciling with his wife. Newspaper accounts portrayed him as resolute and unaffected by the impending sentence, maintaining his composure until the day of his execution. On that day, however, he appeared fatigued and melancholic, seemingly worn out from apparent sleeplessness. Yet, as the morning progressed, he rallied and engaged in conversations with the guards, lifting his spirits. For his last meal, Franz requested 2 servings of roast pork, accompanied by red wine, Virginia brand Cuban cigars, and 2 coffees with milk. In the early hours of March 17, 1892, amid a crowd numbering approximately 150 to 200 individuals, comprising of court officials, police officers, lawyers, doctors, and journalists, Franz Schneider was hanged in Vienna. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing by clicking the red subscribe button below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.